So yesterday we discussed data warehousing, right? So this definition is very important. What is the data warehousing is? So the data warehousing is a subject oriented, integrated, time variant, and non-volatile collection of data in support of decision making. Okay. So last time, what is subject areas means we'll store based on the subject wise, like customer wise, product wise. Okay. So like that we'll store in the data warehousing. And integrated means when we are integrate the data multiple source systems into um, one. So that is a integrated. And the time variant, when we are loading data into data warehousing, we will add one timestamp for when that record is inserted. Okay, and we'll maintain the history also. And non-volatile means you will have only a read-only access. So sometimes they will ask you, you are loading data warehousing systems. Can I delete the data in data warehousing? So you can tell no. Yeah, we cannot delete data in data warehousing. So 1 minute. Okay, this is the data warehousing definition. Then in terms of designing, data warehousing and data marts are almost the same. Some systems they will go for the building the data warehousing. Some projects they will go for the data marts. And next, so main difference is data warehousing is for enterprise level will store. When it comes to data marts, will one specific business division or department level will store it. Okay, that is a one difference. So these differences and data warehousing difference is very important. Okay, and what is subject oriented, integrated, time oriented, I will explain yesterday. And in data warehousing, you may ask, what are the things we'll do? So when we are any project you are working, so we will do this kind of activities. So data cleansing, suppose you are working in some we need to do some data cleansing activities. They will in discussion, suppose in project meeting they will discussing, so in our project we are using data cleansing activity also. So in that case, you need to understand what is data cleansing. So data cleansing means we are weeding out unnecessarily, means we are removing unnecessarily or unwanted things, characters from the incoming data. Suppose when you are reading data from the OLTP systems, I don't want some columns, or I don't want some data is not correct actually. I want to remove the, suppose you have the name is there, you have some spaces is there, suppose spaces or extra characters are there on. So we will remove in the data cleansing activity. Okay, some special characters are we will remove actually. Okay, so those kind of things we'll do in the data cleansing activity. And data merging, so data merging means data can be gathered from heterogeneous systems and put together. So data merging means suppose you have different sources, like you have the file and databases are there, so you can club the data and from the external sources and you can load it. So merging means you are clubbing the data from different sources. So my company, I'm performing operations on Excel and XML files are there. I want to club the two sources. So that is nothing but a data merging. And data scrubbing is another activity. So data scrubbing in the what we'll do is a process of fixing or eliminating individual piece of data that are incorrect, incomplete or duplicated before the data process. So in the data scrubbing, so we will eliminate any errors records or any duplications we have, duplicate records we have. So we will eliminate the duplicates in our transformation process. So these activities who will do actually, as a developer you have to do these activities: data cleansing activity, so data merging activity, data scrubbing activity, you have to do by using this informatica tool. You have to write the code. Okay. And data warehousing, your data mart is nothing but a one specific sub uh, data marts are sponsored at the department level or developed within a specific. Suppose I want to build, I don't want to build data warehousing, I want only sales, I want to build. In that case, you can go for data mart actually. Okay. And these are the just data mining, just concept wise you need to understand. So in outside, if you learn data mining also, you will have the very good future. So only less number of resources available in the data mining side. So data mining also some tools will be there. So what we'll do actually, data mining is a analytical process designed to explore hidden consistent patterns, trends and association within the data stored in a data warehouse. So you have some large data is there in your source, but you need to identify some hidden data actually. I don't know so what data is actually. In the data mining process we will identify actually. So that data will be useful for company purpose. So that in the data mining activity will do it actually. Okay. And these are the definitions, very important guys. What is data warehousing, what is data mart, and what are the activities you are doing in your project. Data cleansing, those things is very important. And yesterday I explained dimension fact tables. Okay. And next thing is surrogate key. So this also one key. So in our database terminology we have some keys will be there: primary key, foreign key. So in our any database we have some primary key, okay, foreign key, unique key, okay, then not null. These are the constants will have at the database level. Okay. And coming to our data warehousing, when we are in compulsory any projects, whether you are going for the data warehouse or data marts, okay, so you need to build some dimensions. So yesterday I told, right, we need to implement the SCD1 or SCD2 or SCD3. Then nothing but a slowly changing dimensions. Some attributes behaviors are changing, like address. We need to capture in our data warehousing systems. So for that, we'll create one. Sorry, because you have some customer IDs there. This is a key column, like we call as a natural key. So customer ID one address is there. 101, let's say customer is staying in Hyderabad. Later point of time this customer went to some other place, Chennai. So obviously any data you are receiving in the operational systems, what will happen, that the data will be read in the ETL tools and we are loading into data warehouse. There is a process actually. Suppose today your business, after your business hours you got some 1 lakh transactions happened in your daily sales. What we'll do in the, suppose you build already data warehousing systems, yesterday tomorrow what we'll do, this to all data we will load into your data warehousing. So when we are loading into data warehousing, we will follow dimensions and fact tables, right? So when we are dimensioning, so I need my business asked to implement type 2 approach. So I want to maintain the history, let's say. So if you keep customer ID and address, okay, if you maintain, if you type again this customer is a unique actually. If you enter again this, it will not allow actually. Why? Because customer ID is a primary key, right? If you enter again this it will not allow actually. So instead of maintaining the customer ID, we'll use one surrogate ID, SID we called. So surrogate ID is a, it act like a primary key in our data warehousing. Simple. Just we'll maintain one key actually. That is for actual table, we'll create one extra column, that is a key column. So it will depending on the all records. So if you when SID is equal to 1 means you will get the all record. Okay, that is a surrogate key column. You need to add this. Surrogate key is a substitution for the natural primary key. So natural primary key means this is a natural primary key. Okay, it is a unique identifier or number uh, for each record of a dimension table that can be used for the primary key to the table. Okay, so why we are maintaining, they will ask you why you are maintaining primary key. Why? Because natural keys may change. This key behavior customer ID, so it will changing actually, so that's why we are maintaining a surrogate key. The surrogate key will, how we are generating the surrogate key is sequence numbers actually, 1 2 3 4 5. Okay, so the sequence numbers how we are generating based on the one column you need to generate, based on the customer ID you need to generate, or based on the multiple columns also, means based on the composite key we will uh, generate generate this surrogate ID. Okay, so you need to understand this. We'll see in the informatica once last concept will be there, how we are generating surrogate ID. Okay, and the other cubes is later stage. ETL you know already, so some people are joined today. For them, what is ETL means? Extract, transform, and load. So simply extracting data from these different sources or databases and transforming and loading into your data marts or data warehouse. Okay, so we have the, and next is here one factless fact table is also one concept. So we have the fact table, right? So fact table means all numerical items will store in the fact table. So what are the types of fact table they will ask in interview? So you can say factless fact table is one thing. A factless fact table that contains only primary keys from the dimension tables and that does not contain any measurements. So that type of fact table we called as a factless fact table. Okay, so normally in our previous diagram, I shown one fact table, keys from the dimension table and measurements, amount of sold, goods of sold. So this is a one fact table without having any measurements. Like suppose my product promotion events, let's say. So this is actually I'm using events, let's say yes or no events, or some attendance I'm actually. So those attendance I'm keeping in the fact table, but that don't have a measure actually. So that type of things we called as a factless fact table. Suppose employee attendance is there, I'm keeping, so yes or no will be there. So, that I can store in the fact table, but I cannot do any kind of validations. I cannot do any kind of business measures on this uh, things actually. That is called as a factless fact table. Okay, and what is the schema? So it's compulsory. You will have follow one schema. Schema is nothing but a graphical representation of the data structure. Okay, so then these are the things we need. You need to. I will send you these important questions. Just understand and practice this question and by head. Okay, and another last chapter is different types of dimensions also will be there. So I will tell you later point of time. Once you familiar with this concept, I will tell you what are the different types of dimension tables. We have the slowly changing dimensions, and another thing is confirmed dimension. So confirmed dimension will be used morely. So confirmed dimension is a dimension that has a single meaning and content throughout a data warehousing. Okay, so if you build one dimension, you can use with multiple tables, multiple fact tables actually. So like time dimension table is normally used in all star schemas. It can be designed once and you can use it with many fact tables. This time dimension means already told of time id, week id. So this attributes behavior will not change actually. So we'll create one time, and you can use any number of schemas. Okay, so that dimension we call as a confirm dimension. So you can example, you can tell time dimension. Okay, so these are the data warehousing concept, guys. You need to understand what is dimension, what is fact. These all some questions I will send in one document. Document I will send you just to practice on that dimension. So this is actually diagram. So we'll follow one schema, right? Okay, so we have the like this diagram will be there. Okay, so if anybody asks what is your star schema diagram, you can tell we have the one fact table having many dimensions. So time dimensions is a confirm dimension, and store dimensions, clerk dimension, promo dimension, and product dimension, customer dimension, register dimension. If you see each dimension having only those attributes, suppose if you see store means only store related information will be there. So those are the descriptive items. So that's why we call as a uh, dimension table. And fact means keys from the dimension table. So these all keys nothing but a foreign key. So that's why I explained what is primary key, what is foreign key. So what is a join concept. So if you very much familiar with this concept, you can understand very well here. Okay, so here keys from the all dimension table, then you can have the dollar sold. These are the measurements. Okay, so these are the concepts, guys, data warehousing concepts. Next we'll see the actual informatica. So these are the tool, guys. So informatica is having, so once you install in your laptop, so you can see the client like this folder will be there. Under that folder you will have the, is a browser based informatica administrator homepage, a browser based, and these are the tools: informatica power center designer, repository manager, workflow manager, workflow monitor. So if you practice 3-4 days, I will explain you one job. If you practice 3-4 times, you will familiar with this all four tools. Okay, so how to connect these things I will explain you. Before that, any tool or anything you are learning, first go for the architecture. So how it is performing, what are the component inside it is doing. And okay, so those, if you learn very well, a later time you can understand. If any issues came, you can easily understand the, suppose sometimes you are connecting when your job you are not able to connect. So without knowing the architecture you cannot get the correct answer actually. So that's why first we'll go for some informatica basic architecture and components things, then we'll go for the actual tool, uh, how to open the tool and like this we'll see. Okay, and so if you want to move informatica tool site, you have the informatica is the informatica corporation. So these are the tool informatica. So these are the informatica, you can register here and you can get some login. So you can create one dummy account also. So here you can have the training also will be there. If you want to take training from the informatica site also you can take it, but it will be very costly, around 1 lakh will they will charge. uh, you have the, informatica university will be there. You can learn any concept here and you can certification, and here you can have the uh, all platforms. What is the informatica latest? Suppose if you they are introducing anything latest, they will focus on the tool only. Okay, and we have different types of products are there. Informatica, I can see data catalog is very useful, but we are not learning a data catalog. So So product. So data catalog, data engineering tools, and data integration tools. Okay, so we are learning data integration actually. So we are only learning one specific area only we are working. So that's why if you learn one tool, you have the scope to work with these different things. So you have the power center we are learning actually. Now we are learning only power center. So once you are into one project, you may get a chance to work with data exchange or informatica integration hub, and like data quality governance. Okay, and data privacy. These are the tools. These are the tools actually. So every tool, if you want to learn, is API. So if you want to call any web services, you can get the request and response. And main thing, master data management. So very popular nowadays. MDM is very powerful and successful in informatica. Okay, MDM tools are there. So like this, if you learn one tool informatica, you can get a chance to work with these all tools. Okay, apart from that, you can have the cloud also will be there. So we normally connecting with the installing and working, right? So without installing also you can work. That is nothing but a informatica cloud. So this is also very good future in the market presently. So it's a very good, very huge demand on the informatica cloud actually. So this is informatica cloud. So actually informatica site is that the informatica cloud. So just you can go for the free trial. So I will explain you at the last time if you want how to use this informatica cloud. Okay, this informatica cloud also very useful. You can have the some uh, PPTs will be there, some videos will be there. If you want to explore, you can go for it. So many videos are there. You can, if you want to explore more tool level, so everything will be there here. So need not to go to any other site, nothing. Training also not required. Here also you can have the all basic PPTs, everything will be there here. Okay. So these are the informatic how to log in. So these are tools scope. Once you learn the informatica, you can have the solutions. You can see these are the solution. What is which industry? These are all industries are using education, financial services, governments, healthcare, life sciences, and manufacturing, retail. So even though artificial intelligence also they added actually, big data also they added here. So everything, all uh, components they are added in the informatica tool. So that's why you have the very good scope after learning this action. So first, if you want to understand very well, first this informatica tool you need to understand. First, you need to understand the how this is running actually. So how this is doing very good performance. So in outside 100 plus tools are there, ETL tools. So among informatica is a leader. It's not a open source, it is a licensed one actually. So everyone, suppose if you want to use this in your company, let's say informatica tool, so license cost will be very huge actually. So up to in our Indian currency, maybe 50 lakhs to 1 crore will be their license. So very costly actually compared to other tools. It's a very costly tool actually. So that's why, so you will get the more opportunities. Okay. So now we'll go for what is informatica architecture level. We go for it. So these are the informatica architecture overview. So informatica, what we'll do? So we'll have the informatica. Before informatica, we call it a power center actually. So this tool name actually power center. Power center. Remaining tools will come. Power center designer. So informatica power center design. You need to remember this word. So informatica, whenever you're opening, you need to speak this name, Informatica Power Center Designer. If you speak 3-4 times, you will remember forever. Okay, Informatica Power Center. Then designer, like this, we have many tools are there. Designer, repository manager, workflow manager, monitor. Okay, these are the what tools we called client tools, Informatica client tools. So we have two components are there when Informatica installing. One is server, another one is client. Okay, so client as a developer will use, server is you can install anywhere. So with the client you can connect to the server. Suppose server you are installing some other place, let's say your other country you installed. From here you can work actually, that is a client. So you can install the client, you can get the information, what is domain name, service name, everything. If network ports are enabled, you can connect with the server, you can store your data into server actually. So from here you can create all kind of jobs. Okay, so that is the Informatica. So here, so Power Center integration service moves data from sources to target. So what this tool is doing actually, so just it is reading the data from the source and loading the target. This tool will not save any data internally. This tool, Informatica tool, will not store any data by itself. It will read the data and load into some other target. That's what. So in between, it will do a kind of a just like a engine. Just it will read it and load it. Okay. So for reading and loading, so how to connect, what are the transformation laws, different things will be there. We'll learn those things. Okay. And here the Informatica moves data from the sources to target based on the Power Center workflow and mapping the Power Center repository. When a workflow starts, workflow means Informatica one object. So like job we called. So if you want to run job means, we'll see later. So job means your any job. So if you run it, what will do? Informatica retrieves mapping. So mapping is nothing but a source and target. I will explain in detail about the mapping and workflow and session metadata from the repository. So what is the repository here is, I told right, when you are installing the Informatica, we will first install the uh, any database. So that database will create one repository. It will store actually. So when you are running, first it will pick the metadata from the repository and it extracts data from the mapping sources and stores the data in memory while it applies the transformation rules configured in the mapping. Okay, the Power Center integration service loads the transform data into one or more targets. So you can load one or more targets also, you can load it. So for this activity, to move data from the source to target, so Power Center uses these three components. So this is a very interview question also. So Power Center integration service process, what will do? Load balancer and data transformation manager. So DTM. Compulsory if you go for any interview, they will ask you what is DTM. What are the activities will do DTM, or they will ask you what is load balancer, or they will ask you what is Power Center integration service process they'll do. Okay, so that's why you need to just go for these things. I need to add some one or two lines. Okay, so if you understand very well, easily you can get it. So Power Center integration service starts one or more Power Center integration service process to run and monitor workflows. So workflow is nothing but a one executable object. So when you run it, so that is a you need to run actually. So when you are running, what is doing actually, this Informatica service process will start actually. Okay, when you run the workflow, the integration service process starts and locks the workflow, runs the workflow task and start the process to session. So whenever you are running any workflow, it will lock it actually. Lock means other users they cannot do any kind of operation. So you are running means other users they cannot run it. So that's why it will apply locks on the uh, object, that is a workflow. Okay, so workflow is kind of a is a object actually. So inside the workflow we have the task will be there. We'll see the task session, those things. And what will do this load balancer? So load balancer is a informatica integration service uses load balancer to dispatch the tasks. So suppose you are running one task inside the some steps are there. So what will do, this load balance would take as a request and it will use the dispatch the task. It will create some task, it will dispatch the task, and that load balancer dispatch the task to achieve optimal performance. It may dispatch task to a single node or across the nodes. So when you are running the job, this load balance will understand and it will run very fastly. So for running the process very fastly, this load balance will take care. So suppose we have the nodes will be there, like in any informatic installation, will create a single node or double node actually. So if one node is failure, it will run on the another node. So that is a load balancer will do. And DTM means the power center integration service starts a DTM process to run each session and command task within the workflow. The DTM process performs sessions validations, create threads to initialize the session, read, write, and transform data, and handles pre and post session operations. So these things I will explain you what is pre and post session operation, that I will explain you. So these are the connectivity once it is connected. So what will do this Informatica integration service? So integration service what will do? These are the activity will do. So manage workflow scheduling, logs and read the workflow, read the parameter file. We'll see what is parameter file, create workflow log. So that also we'll see tomorrow. What is workflow log, everything. Run workflow task and evaluate the condition links connecting the task. So you can run multiple jobs, multiple tasks actually. So it will check the evaluate condition. So what are the condition you given? Based on the condition true, it will execute the next task. And start the DTM process and run the session. So just now I told that DTM means next one. This is the DTM. So there's another component, data transformation manager. Okay. And write historical run information to the repository. Suppose you are running multiple times, it will store your all log information, when the job is started, when job is ended, what is the error, what is the information it will store, and send post session email in the event of DTM failure. So these are the things Informatica integration service will do. Okay. So if you remember 3 4 is enough. Okay. So next, load balancer. So load balancer will not do a dispatch process. Load balancer what will do, it will do load balancer achieve, what is this main concept of load balancer means, achieve optimal performance and scalability. So why? Because if you running any job, you should complete very within the time frame. That is the concept of tool. So why this tool is very popular? Because of performance. So any tool, when anything you are, why we are buying, suppose you are buying one phone or anything, laptop, first we'll choose performance. So if performance is very good, then obviously we will buy. So that's why here also in Informatica, when you are running the job, this load balancer will take care of optimal performance and scalability. Okay. So what are the things it will do? A dispatch process and resources allocation and dispatch mode, these are the things we'll do. And coming to next, DTM process, so it's also very important. And when you are running, these are the concept actually, these are the advanced chapter, perform push down automation techniques and create dynamic partitions. When you're creating dynamic partition, this DTM will do actually. So DTM process is the operating system process that the power center integration service creates to run a DTM instance. The power center integration service create a DTM instance to run each session, and it runs each DTM within the DTM process. The DTM process also called the PM DTM process. So what are the operations this DTM will do? Read the session information and perform push down automation, creates dynamic partition, forms partition groups, expands variables and parameters, create the session log and validate code pages, and start worker DTM processor and runs pre-session operations and runs processing threads, runs post-session operations. So these will see in the practicals. What are the post-session command, pre-session operations, what is the post-session email. This will see actually. Okay. So main thing you need to know what is the components here. Today we learn in informatica level. Power center integration service, that is one thing. And next load balancer, then DTM. So these are the things you need to remember and you need to know what are the things he's doing actually. Okay, so these are the informatica level connectivity, and tomorrow we'll see informatica architecture diagram, and then we'll start. So try to install your informatica, then we'll go for how to, what is the repository, what is integration service. In the admin level concept we'll go for it. So these are the admin level things will go. So informatica administrator concept. The tool actually is a browser based, so it will open in the browser only. Is a tool. You need to create the administrator 1 2 3 4 5 6. So these are the just now. So whatever you are learning, everything will be seen in the um, practically. So you can see nodes are there, nodes, domains, so repository, integration service. Then yeah, just now we saw right, informatica integration service, personal repository service. Okay, so these are browser based. You can see these are all browser based only. So this mainly most of the times administrator, if you go for any informatica support role or administrator role or admin support, you will have the access. This administrator as a developer will not get a access for the administrator tool, but in our system we already installed, right? Because server is here only, and the client for practice purpose will have the access, but in real time you will not get uh, access. So unless and until you have any specific task is there, they'll give. Okay, so here every administrator tool having the some port number will be there. 8443 is my port number. So like this, so different people have the different, suppose you're working for one company, so you have the different port number will be there. Okay, and tomorrow we'll see how, what is the repository service, what is the integration service. These are the very important to work with daily. Integration service and repository service should be up and running, so then only you can work. You can see, so here all are need not to write any code here. You will have the all option. So uh, your requirement is to, your learning is to know the what are the options are there. That's what. So your learning is to know which option is to which thing. Suppose security tab is there, what is the purpose of security tab. Suppose I want to create one user, so directly you can go for, click here, create user. Okay, so here you are doing any kind of things here, you are not writing any code, just you are using the options only. So this course is actually informatica. You need to know the what are the options are there, which option, what is the option is using for. Okay, so those kind of things you need to learn. So if you once after completion of my training, daily you just practice for 1 hour or 2 hours, so that you will familiar with the all these concepts. Okay guys, so by tomorrow onwards we'll start our actual practicals. So tomorrow we'll complete administrative things, and then day after tomorrow we'll go for the designer things. Okay, okay, thank you guys. If you have any doubts you can ask me. Okay, thank you. I'm stopping here. We'll continue tomorrow.